please be careful. And of course, we ask not to touch, but in case you need to brace yourself up against this wall versus falling, please, you are more important than anything in the cave. Please be careful. We don't want anyone hurt.
So how many people have hit their heads?
Oh man, so many, and I'm not kidding that they've warned us that if many more people get injured, we'll all have to wear helmets in the cave.
Yeah, the hard hat. I was thinking the hard hat.
And I'm serious. And this is our side door entrance. Normally we don't come in this way, but this also gives you the opportunity to see. This area here is when I'm last one, shut the door. So the dragon won't get out. And this area is where the Native Americans would actually come in. That was the natural opening. And they would come in here to hide, to get away from bad weather, bad animals, and to get away from their mother-in-law. Sorry, that's not even good. But also, if you haven't known, we now offer VIP flashlight tours, 6 till 8 p.m.
Oh wow!
And there you can do reservations, and we call them flashlight tours. All the lights in the cave are off. Everyone has a flashlight either they bring, or in certain packages, you can have the flashlight and a t-shirt that says what's done in the cave stays in the cave. But we literally go like all down here. There are about 3 or 4 rooms. We go in all the private rooms in the cave at night. And that's pretty cool. Sometimes this also does get flooded as well. But this is where they actually stayed. Now, on my tour, like every tour guide is different. This first part on this side door entrance, I first like to introduce everyone to my gargoyle. Okay, some say it's a bulldog, but I call my gargoyle, well, his name, and I have to pronounce it right or he'll get upset. Sir Richard Burton. Okay. Sir Richard Burton is my gargoyle on my tour, and he's standing here making sure the dragon doesn't take hostages. So please be careful as we continue, and we'll go to the
chocolate ice cream.
Please watch your head.
Yeah, I got to do one of the flashlight tours right after Hurricane Michael because there was no electricity down here. So that's all they offered was the flashlight one. And it's a really rare opportunity. Only special VIP and then Boy Scouts get to do it. But we'll definitely have to come one evening and do it too because it's a whole different place when this whole place is black and darked out.
It takes 100 years for 1 cubic inch of that to grow. So that is a good way to estimate how big they are. Every inch is 100 years. Oh gosh. Now this area, let me see if it's flooded. If you guys want to walk through, I'll see if the waiting room is accessible. But yes, it's really, you might not want to get your feet wet, but this area in front of, or to my right, that is called the Forbidden Passage. And it is also through that passage that during those tours at night, we go in all of those rooms.
Oh, wow.
This area connects to that area, the Native Americans I just showed you. There's rooms back there, and then it leads to this.
I bet that's cold.
And this room here is our waiting room.
I'm sorry, but you don't matter. There's a hole down here. Change your feet.
What's happening, normally we would have entered that area, but as you can see, the waters have joined. And that is called the basement of the cave, and it has flooded. And the basement is at 60 feet below the surface, and the aquifer is backing up that water, and it might keep rising for the next 3 to 4 days. And so that room over there is, again, the basement, the transitional room, and there's like a pond area, and now it is connected. Hopefully it won't get too much higher, but yesterday we could enter in that area. And so then some days it will actually even come up in here. This is our most popular room, and it's called the wedding room. And they call it the wedding room because of this white outside tower. They said it resembled a wedding cake. And we actually perform weddings in this room. We do 2 to 3 a year. And up here is where the minister would stand, and I always say the bride and her caveman, right here. And because we call it the wedding room, on the sides, we say these are draperies. They're actually flow stones. They have grown at an angle, like if you washed your hands in a sink, lifting your elbows, water going down to your armpit. That's how these guys grow. Some also say they look like angel wings, bat wings, pig ears, bacon slabs. And I've even heard Doritos. It's your imagination. And behind this big calcited wedding cake, this is also flow stone, and it flows at a straight line down, and they mimic pipe organs. So for your wedding, we perform music, but we only do hard rock. All right. Now, also, something that is not seen very often, there is a crustacean up here, and it kind of looks like a lobster. Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It does look like a lobster.
That is pretty cool.
Look at that.
And that's a big giant shrimp.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys can
And-
see that. I'm watching this, but that is a fossil of some type. Definitely looks like a lobster.
And back here, I call this, that I call either a shark, you know, it looks like a miniature shark, and that's water, if you imagine. And we do a ghost tour in the cave. So we also call this the World War I veteran's hand from the grave,
This is part of your dragon
reaching
right
for
there.
his peanut butter.
See, this is your dragon right here. If you look at it.
There's even fossils right there in the top section.
Kind of looks like a goat right there
Beautiful.
too.
Yeah, but this is the dragon. Look, the eyes, the horn.
Oh yeah, I could see it. Kind of reminds me of the dragon's eyes deep in another cave.
Also, way back here, there is, it looks like a dome. See that? Yes, that's one of the parts. Absolutely. That would be the basement of the cave. We call that. The bottom? Yes, and the transitional room are flooded. And yesterday we could walk through there. Okay. And again, we do 2 to 3 weddings a year. And just about a month ago, instead of this being called the wedding cake, we did a surprise birthday party for an 11-year-old. So instead of wedding cake, it was the birthday cake. And so, and then they were in that flashlight tour with all the lights out, and those kids had a great time. So carefully, as we continue, we're going to turn around and go back in the room that we came in first, and then we're going to learn about that room. But I also, because they're better seen here, I'll show you right now. These little guys, they mimic straws. They're literally called straws in that formation. They're hollow, and it takes 100 years for a cubic inch of that to grow. If not disturbed, and it widens, it seals on the bottom like this one now, and we now call that a stalactite. A good way to remember the stalactite is tight to the ceiling. As water flows over the stalactite, landing on the base or ground, All of these are on the ground surface. This used to be a completed floor. They chiseled it out for us to have a walking tour. But all of these little guys that are growing from the ground up are stalagmites. A good way to remember, stalagmite with the G is on the ground. You might trip on it. And the stalactites tight to the ceiling. And because this is the wedding room, I call it kind of romantic, not too mushy, but this is how our love story begins. The stalactite went on Tinder, swiped right, met a stalagmite. They met and got married in the wedding room. And now they've been honeymooning for tens of thousands of years. And in the next area, we're going to see what happens to a happily married couple after 40 or 50 thousands of years. Tune in again to the next episode of Life, Love, and Mystery in a Cave with a crazy tour guide.
Down there,
Yes.
the water's glowing
And
blue.
no,
Yeah, I saw that one of the rooms has a blue light over in the back
Our
over
cave
there.
is romantic, and it's trying to turn you
Super
into
cool.
a stalagmite. So you
I think we hit the
might get
jackpot
married
with
in the
our
wedding
with
room.
our tour guide too. This is perfect energy.
Yeah,
And now
our tour guide is full of energy. It's so pretty. Yeah, about to find me a piece of property that has one of these on it.
These look like a bunch of teeth stacked up, don't they?
Oh, they do.
It's,
Teeth and bones.
yo, it's really scary.
Do you have a lot?
Very, very pretty.
Sure.
Standing room only in here.
Yeah, little snug.
Do you have a lot, Sam?
Of course.
There's so many of them down there too, guys. Look at that. Beautiful.
Pretty much anywhere you look, you can make a discovery of a shark tooth or a fossil that may have never been seen before.
It's a shame that somebody broke that one.
All those pigtails that are over there on that one, if you take the back of your flashlight and just run it along, it makes a really cool noise, and it doesn't damage it any. I don't know if every guide does that, which I know that answer. I know most of them don't.
Look at that. Wow. Beautiful.
Oh yeah. And here.
See, this is where it gets good when we all get separated in the cave.
Oh yeah, it goes way back in there, guys. It continues. We can't see the end of it. It cuts back to the right.
Right down here was where they filmed Cobra Gator and Sharkensaw Women's Prison Massacre.
Wow. And yes, we are getting wet. Definitely can see that.
They would hang lanterns in the ceiling. Yeah. And they thought the reflection of the bulbs meant more light. And that's why they put them in the ceiling. Yes.
Can't wait to come back for the flashlight only tour. A little bit more freedom. But this has been going incredible so far.
Cave. Again, it was 1938 when the work began in this cave. But that work led from directly the Great Depression, 1929. The stock market crash led to a presidential election of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. March of 1933, he was elected president. He founded the New Deal, and that was the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, a program where young men, predominantly 17 to 25, did hard manual labor throughout the entire country. That's how a lot of our state parks were developed. Here, the work began in 38. Now, as I mentioned earlier to you, Kim Kardashian and the Bats, that's our generation. Well, their generation, it was a different time, and those kids liked Walt Disney. Not Land of World, but the movies. 1938, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs won an Oscar. So that was very popular to the kids, and when they came in here, they were thinking of what was popular, like all kids do. They saw this little guy right here, and they said, ooh, that looks like a duck, leaning on a log with a helmet on in the cave. They literally named this the Donald Duck Room, because that is what was popular to those kids. Now, when grown-ups get involved after they named this the Donald Duck Room, they came in with a whole new name. They saw these fracturings right over here. They gave the room the name the Fracture Room. Hey, Mr. Lou.
I had to do that.
However crazy this tour goes, he taught me, okay? He was my teacher, and I'm serious.
Now, if it's a good one, that was the truth. If it's a bad one, that was a lie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I like your shirt. Social
thank you,
distancing
sir.
champ. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
right here.
When they saw this, those people who study formations in caves, they're speleontologists. They came up with the new room, the fracture room. That was the name. I like Donald Duck better. But scientifically, the reason this is fractured, all of these are literally attached to the cave's wall, directly to the floor. Underneath us is that aquifer that you are witnessing. It's flooding the cave. Water is the strongest force on earth. Sometimes it moves fast underneath and it shifts the cave's flooring, causing these to fracture that are directly attached. And this big couple standing in the back, you can literally see in the center, they were fractured, but they've mended back together. How did they get their marriage back on track? Remember in the last one when I said the stalactite went on Tinder, swipe right, met the stalagmite. They were married for tens of thousands of years. Now they're kind of grumbling a little bit, but they'll be okay. You know, I call it the mother-in-law stage of their marriage. They're going to get together like these did, work out their differences, keep everybody from touching them, and they can grow back together every 100 years, another cubic inch of growth. That is how these guys can grow back together. Now, if you also look over here, none of these couples really are making up to break up a lot like over here, but look, they're not directly attached to the cave's floor as these are. You're gonna see three main colors on our tour. This white is calcite or calcium, coming through the limestone from the seashells and bone fragments in that limestone. This color right about here, I call it, what could that be? Dirty chocolate pudding. What else could it be? That is manganese coming through the soil. We're going to see that again in another room. Please remember that. Straight ahead, this rust is iron coming through from the clay deposits. And also, again, pay attention to our floor. This is not a natural pattern. The floor originally was up higher. As the stalagmites grow from the ground up, those young men chiseled all of this out like Snow White's 7 dwarfs. That's why I bring up that analogy. They work with pickaxes, wheelbarrows, 10-gallon buckets, earning $1 a day. And at the end of 30, they only pocketed $5. 25 went to feed their parents because it was the Depression. And so we'll remember that all through the tour. But after they excavated this area, they coated the floor with cement. And as we go toward the next area, you can see that through that cement, there has been erosions. And we're going to learn what that is in the next room. Please be careful and watch your head as we go to our next room. And the next room is called the South American room. So bien aquí, follow me to South America. And please be careful. No, not today. By us going underground, they're not asking for today. But notice also on the sides of the cave's walls, I call this the walls of support. This is an original floor because the stalagmites grow from the ground up.
Right.
And as we continue, also notice right here is like a time warp. This is the work by the young men with no power tools. This is decades later, following probably Hurricane Michael when they added support. These were done with power tools. Look at the different sizes of the same stone. And on the sides of the cavern wall, you'll also see camouflage, cement, and it's hiding the new wiring because they rewired the entire cave after Hurricane Michael.
Hurricane Michael.
And here's
Caused
more
much damage
erosion.
in
And
here.
as we
That's
go
what she's
further,
referring to.
this
Like
is where I ask you,
line,
put your seats in an
electric
upright position. And as we exit the plane, landing in South America, please stay to the right of the plane because there are puddles of water on the left side. Please be careful.
She's earning a tip for sure from me.
Whoa.
He's good.
All right. Whoa. Now,
Honeybee certified.
but look at that big old cricket. Okay, up there where my light is. That is not Jimmy the cricket. That is James the cricket that ate Milwaukee.
That's a big cricket.
Look at that big
The mole cricket.
That's a biggin. Please be careful.
Give it a kiss.
There's the mole cricket.
We never know.
Oh, that's a hot one.
60 feet, that was the basement, and we're gonna know we're gonna go more. About 75, I believe, because as we go down the stairs, the catacombs, unless it is flooded. But yesterday we could go in there. All right, this is the South American room. It is the largest room on the tour. And this room got its name because some of those people who helped train the CCC were some Native American groups, some African American groups, and mainly World War I vets. And many of those World War I vets, having traveled all over the world, they came up here at this feature. And they said this pool of water that is actually called a brimstone pool looks like the continent of South America. And that is how the room got its name. This pool of water, a brimstone pool, develops as drops of water come through the limestone with the minerals. They float atop that water. Every drop pushes the minerals to the edge or rim. They harden like stair steps into a particular pattern, and these, we're told, have patterned into form like South America. And I've had many tours from Venezuela, Colombia, Brazil say it does look like the continent of South America. And this is where I encourage you all to look at it, to love it, and take your time paying for it. All right. And carefully, please, be careful after you have been in South America.
Wow. First time I've ever seen this happen.
So we ain't gotta get a passport to go here.
Yeah. It's
And
very
there's the
cool.
South America shaped pool.
The water's so clear it doesn't even look like it's there.
Oh, that's so pretty. I'd love to go back up in there.
Look at all the straws, man.
See
Damn.
the tracks right there with that shit.
All right, now, while everyone is getting over that South American trip, this area of the cave is actually where, especially when I have young kids in a group, and I'm going to tell you this in case you might want to bring your grands one day or children. In this part of the tour, I remind all the people that all of this used to be under the ocean. Florida was once under a warm, shallow ocean, making it a karst topography, K-A-R-S-T. As a direct result of that, the waters, the ocean, literally is the main architect of our cave. Water did all this work. Now, this is also how Honeybee got the nickname the Bad Babysitter. Because normally, like any other old tour guide, I could just point to things and keep on going. But I like to make you work for it, okay? I'm not going to give you a wham bam, thank you ma'am tour. This is where I'll share with you that there's something in this room that used to swim in the ocean or it left something in the room. And because of that, I would normally encourage all our students to sing Baby Shark. Okay, but sing it also in the car on the way home and call your nanas in the middle of the night and sing Baby Shark. Now, why would I do that in the cave? Well, to drive y'all crazy, but also because there's a shark's tooth right there in the ceiling. And for our students, a shark has 10,000 teeth in its lifetime. That shark was probably swimming around eating lunch, and it didn't have on Fixodent, okay? And it lost a tooth, it fell in the sand, and it was hidden. How did it get revealed? Well, as you also see, there are formations that look like domes or circles. Those are called solution domes. As the waters were cascading through this area, carving off the cave, it removed the sand and revealed that shark's tooth. Isn't that cool? Yes, it is. So sing Baby Shark forever! Yes! Baby shark, da, 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 baby shark, da, 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 baby shark. Guess what else is cool? So far, no parent has pushed me over the cliff yet. Or bring up baby shark. But I'm not gonna push you. Now, also remember when I mentioned about the floor and erosion was occurring. And as you see right here, there is some erosion that is literally going all the way through this room. That erosion is predominantly because of this right there. Water, carbonated water. As the trees and plants that died gave off 100% of their carbonic gases and acids, that water, it takes 2 weeks for the average rain to get through that limestone. As it comes through, it slowly picks those up, becoming carbonated, and that carbonated water is literally what is eating its way through the cave. Now, on my tour, y'all are in so much trouble. You know, I forgot to ask too, do you have your wheels rolled? Okay, because we're not done. But this is the part of the tour where I also let you know my tour is like Vegas, baby. What's said in the cave stays in the cave. So your parents aren't going to remember the answer to this question. And it's about carbonated water. Do you drink gin and tonic? Good answer in front of the parents. Or soda. If any of you drink soda pop, read on the back of that can of soda, the first ingredient is going to be the strongest. It's going to be carbonated water. That carbonated water in your soda, his gin and tonic, is the same carbonated water that is literally eating its way through the cave, but with one difference. What we consume is 150% stronger than that carbonated water that is literally eating its way through the cave. And if you doubt me, I don't know why you would, because you're trusting a stranger to take you to a cave, and y'all don't know how to get out of here. But if you're still doubting me, go on YouTube and look at Coca-Cola being poured over a rusted battery cable, and imagine what it's doing on the inside of you. Yep. Yes. Okay.
I don't like that part of the tour.
All right, now this is part of the tour where
I saw a little trail going down there, so I'm sure you can get back there pretty
I
far.
brought up Baby Shark, but this is the part where
Yeah,
the
someone
young
back
people
there.
might gather me like Gulliver and throw me over the cliff, maybe, because this is where if it's
Oh,
okay
yeah.
with everyone, I like to show you what total
There's a
darkness
cave that
is.
goes underneath right now.
No, I haven't seen the
And
bat
the
since it was
reason we do
flying.
that
Did you see that
is
one?
No,
when
there's been
those
about
young
4
men
of
were
them.
in
Yeah.
the
They
cave,
keep
they
coming
had
from that area, that's why I was
carbide
asking.
gas
Wow.
helmets,
Yeah, there's-
kerosene
I only saw
lamps,
one.
no
Maybe I saw
electricity, and no
Yeah,
fancy
I've seen
flashlights.
3 or
Okay?
4 of them. Yeah.
So, is everybody
Yeah,
okay with me
from
turning the
here.
lights out? Yes, you okay?
Yep.
For a few seconds?
Yep.
All right, now, or if anyone wants to volunteer, wanna do it? Okay. Yes. I always ask someone else to do it, so if they get mad when the lights are out, they won't get mad at me. 1, 2, 3. All right, now I have this on for safety. When I turn this light out, you can't see your hand in front of you. And those who do have sails or lights, just cover them a few seconds. 1, 2, and 3. You can't see your hand in front of you. Now, remembering that those kids were from 1938 to 42, hard labor, earning only $1 a day, and only keeping 5 at the end of 30, giving 25 to feed their parents. What could be worse than all that hard labor and little pay?
Darkness.
Well, something else. They had no Xbox, no PlayStation, and no cell phones. Ah! Talk about child labor laws. Oh, no. And I can't get my son to take out the garbage. Please be careful as we continue. Again, it may be slippery because that is the pattern of the water. And on our left side is a stalagmite, a dinner plate size trying to grow. Please be careful. We also definitely ask please not to touch these stalactites or stalagmites. But I also offer you please, if the option is to fall, please lean toward this wall versus falling. Nothing in this cave is more important than you. Nothing! Except honeybee, because I'm your way out of here. Please be careful, please. Please be careful. And now,
Well, GPS probably don't work
as we approach this area, I like to first let you all know a little more about honeybee, okay?
Baby, you're like.
I'm in love with someone, don't tell my husband. It's William Shatner from Star Trek. So every time I come over here and I look at this, my temperature rises. So I think of Captain Kirk. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring up Captain Kirk right now. He's gonna help me explain